Hey everyone! Welcome back to Story Hive. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Let's jump into today's story. My fiancé cheated with the wedding planner, leading me to call off the wedding and kick her out. Today was supposed to be my wedding day, the happiest day of my life, getting married to the love of my life. But here I am on this thread, penning down my miserable experience. Male was about to marry Brianna female today. I had proposed to her a month ago, and she was elated about it. We had been seeing each other for almost 2 years, and I felt it was time to exchange vows. You see, I'm more of a boring and introverted nerd. If you asked me to plan an event, I'd most likely put together the most basic stuff and be done with it. So when she proposed to take charge, I happily handed over my credit card to her. That was my contribution to our wedding. Brianna wanted to hire a wedding planner for the big day. She was involved in every detail of the event. I wanted the wedding to be in a month, but she said it would take at least 3 months to pull off the kind of wedding she wanted. I agreed to have it her way. I met the planner once to finalize the deal, and the next time I met them, my world crashed. Brianna had shortlisted 2 wedding planners for me to meet and finalize one. We chose Mara. She was excellent at her job. That was it for me. I knew the preparations were ongoing, and I got busy at work trying to wrap things up before the wedding. We had planned a week-long honeymoon to Paris, so I needed to finish my work beforehand. Brianna kept me updated on the progress, and I was cool with that. Things seemed to be going fine until one day Brianna told me that Mara had met with an accident and fractured her knees. She was in a cast for the next 6 weeks, so her stepbrother would be stepping in to handle her work. A few days later, I asked Brianna if everything was going okay, and she said yes, Mara's brother was managing things well. 2 weeks before our wedding, the venue we had initially chosen had to be canceled. It was an outdoor location, so we switched to an indoor venue, the banquet hall of a five-star hotel. Brianna asked me to take some time off to visit the new venue and write a check for them. I took 2 hours off from work. Mara was there with her brother. She had recovered from her injuries, but her brother was still handling the arrangements. The 4 of us waited for the banquet hall manager to arrive. A few minutes later, a middle-aged woman arrived, introduced herself. Our friend had also commented that Brianna had been glowing ever since I proposed to her. While the wedding could be the reason, there were other factors too. But when Brianna saw the lady, she turned pale and started cutting her off. After hugging Brianna, the lady greeted Mara's brother and said, Brianna grinned nervously and intervened, saying there must have been some misunderstanding. The lady, trying to reassure her, continued, "Oh, don't be embarrassed. You two are so in love and getting married soon. I run this hotel and see so many couples making out in the elevator every day. It's no big deal." Mara, sensing the tension, tried to intervene, but it was too late. I stood up and left without saying a word. I couldn't sit there pretending nothing had happened. I understood exactly what had been going on. Brianna ran after me, trying to stop me, but I closed the elevator doors in her face, rushed to the parking lot, and drove off. I could see her chasing my car in the basement. That 15-minute drive to work was the most difficult drive of my life. My phone was constantly buzzing with her calls and voicemails. I reached the office but couldn't focus. I asked the receptionist not to forward any calls or meetings for the day and to cancel all the pending ones. After hundreds of missed calls from Brianna, I finally responded. She said it was all a misunderstanding, claiming the lady had admitted she might have mistaken her for someone else and wanted to apologize. She begged me to meet the woman again to clear the air. I hung up without saying anything. Later that evening, I got a call from Mara. She apologized for interfering in my personal matter, but also requested that I meet the woman again. I told her I wasn't in the right state of mind. After thinking it over, I decided to give Brianna the benefit of the doubt and meet the woman. I didn't tell either Mara or Brianna about this. The next day, I went to the hotel and asked for the manager. I was escorted to her cabin, and she apologized, saying she might have mistaken someone else for Brianna. I asked if I could see the elevator camera footage from the day Brianna visited the venue. She suddenly turned pale and stammered, saying it was against company policy to show the footage to outsiders. Her behavior was suspicious. I asked her why she was so apologetic. She explained she was worried about losing her job if Mara complained about her to the hotel owner. I assured her I wouldn't jeopardize her job and called Mara right in front of her, canceling the booking for the venue. I told Mara that the confusion had been cleared, but I still wanted to call off the wedding. It had nothing to do with the hotel manager. Mara agreed and hung up. Later that evening, I received a call from the hotel manager. She confessed that she had actually seen Brianna with the wedding planner's brother. There had been no confusion. Brianna had begged her to lie and even subtly threatened her job if she didn't. The manager explained that she understood the pain of betrayal because her own marriage had ended due to her husband's infidelity. I didn't tell anyone about this, not my siblings or even my mom. Brianna kept sending me cute texts and selfies, but I haven't blocked her or confronted her yet. Meeting the hotel manager again made me realize how cruel Brianna had been to threaten this woman's job to cover up her own lies. How could I have been so blind? Update 1. It had been months since the world I knew came crashing down. The pain was still there, lingering in the corners of my mind like a dark cloud, but it wasn't as suffocating as it once was. Time has a way of dulling even the sharpest of wounds. I still remember that day vividly, the day I found out Brianna, the woman I was about to marry, had betrayed me with the wedding planner's brother. It felt like a knife twisting in my chest, each revelation cutting deeper than the last. In those first few weeks after calling off the wedding, I was a mess. I couldn't think, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every little thing reminded me of her, of what we were supposed to have. The invitations, the dress fittings, the future we had talked about so often, all of it turned to ash in my hands. But despite the heartbreak, there was a part of me that felt oddly relieved, as if somewhere deep down I had known this was coming. Brianna tried to explain herself, of course. She told me it was a mistake, that she wasn't thinking straight, that she still loved me. But none of it mattered. The trust was gone. And without trust, what is there? So I walked away. I walked away from her, from our plans, from the life I thought we were building together. In the months that followed, I threw myself into work. It was the only thing that kept me from spiraling completely. My business had always been my pride and joy, and now it became my lifeline. I poured every ounce of energy into it, and ironically it started thriving in ways I hadn't expected. The distraction helped, but more than that, it gave me a sense of purpose. For the first time in a long time, I was doing something purely for myself. Therapy helped too. It wasn't easy, sitting in that room week after week, peeling back the layers of my emotions. I wasn't just angry at Brianna, I was angry at myself. Angry for ignoring the signs, for allowing myself to stay in a relationship that wasn't fulfilling me in the ways I needed. I had convinced myself that being a good provider and a loyal partner was enough, but deep down I knew there was more to a relationship than just showing up. The therapist made me see that. She helped me understand that love isn't just about loyalty and devotion. It's about emotional connection, about feeling seen and heard. I hadn't realized how much I had neglected my own needs, how much I had settled for less than what I deserved. And while that realization stung, it was also freeing. I could let go of the guilt, the what-ifs, and focus on healing. Brianna and I haven't spoken since everything went down. There were a few half-hearted attempts on her part, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't go back. She's not a bad person, I know that, but we're just not meant to be. Her parents reached out too, offering their support, but I've made the decision to cut ties with that chapter of my life. It's easier that way. Now I'm starting to feel like myself again. There are still bad days, of course, but they're fewer and farther between. I've reconnected with old friends, spent more time with family, and found joy in the little things. It's not the life I had envisioned, but maybe that's okay. Maybe this is the life I'm supposed to be living. I don't know what the future holds. I'm not ready to date again, not yet. There's still too much healing to be done. But I know that when the time comes, I'll be better equipped to handle whatever comes my way. I'll be stronger, wiser, more attuned to my own needs. As for Brianna, I wish her well. I hope she finds whatever it is she was looking for when she strayed. But I'm done with that part of my life. I'm moving forward, focusing on myself. Update 2. It's been some time now since I walked away from the wedding that never was. The aftermath was brutal, but I've slowly been picking up the pieces of my life one by one. I won't lie, there were moments when I thought I'd never be okay again. The betrayal was so deep, but life has a strange way of moving on whether you're ready or not. I've found that healing isn't a straight line. There are good days where I feel like I'm making progress, and then there are days where the memories sneak up on me unexpected, uninvited. A song on the radio, a scent in the air, even seeing a couple laughing together can drag me back into those moments of doubt and anger. But the difference now is that those moments don't last as long. They don't consume me the way they used to. I've learned to forgive, not just Brianna, but also myself. For a long time, I blamed myself for what happened. I kept asking, what did I do wrong, or how did I not see this coming? But therapy and the support of people who truly care about me helped me realize that sometimes things fall apart because they were never meant to stay together. Brianna's choices weren't a reflection of my worth, they were a reflection of her own issues. I've come to terms with that. Work has been a refuge for me. I've grown my business in ways I didn't think were possible. I think the pain gave me an edge focus that I didn't have before. It's strange how something so destructive can fuel your growth. I've been more driven than ever, and the success has been a welcome distraction. It's not about the money, though that's nice, it's about building something of my own. As for Brianna, I've heard bits and pieces about her through mutual friends. She's moved on with her life. I've seen her a few times around town, but we don't speak. There's nothing left to say. I don't wish her ill, but I've learned that some people are better left in the past. I've also started reconnecting with myself. It's funny, when you're in a long-term relationship, I've started rediscovering my passions, things I'd set aside to make room for us. I'm playing guitar again, going on hikes, spending time with friends I'd lost touch with. I've even started traveling more, something Brianna was never really interested in. Being on my own has been liberating in ways I didn't expect. Dating, though, not quite yet. I'm not ready for that step. I've gone on a few casual dates, but nothing serious. I'm taking my time getting to know myself again before I bring someone else into my life. I've learned that rushing into a new relationship isn't the answer. It won't fix what's broken inside you. Only you can do that. And so here I am, still healing, but stronger than I was before. Life isn't perfect, but it's mine, and that's enough. I've let go of the future I thought I was going to have, and I'm learning to embrace the unknown. It's scary, but also exciting. Who knows what's next? For the first time in a long while, I'm open to finding out. Final update. It's been nearly 2 years since that fateful day when my world turned upside down. Time has a way of dulling even the sharpest of pains, and while the scars remain, they no longer define me. I look back now with a kind of detached understanding. What happened was devastating, yes, but it also set me on a path of growth I never would have found otherwise. I've made peace with it all. Brianna is a distant memory, someone from a chapter of my life that's long since closed. I don't harbor any ill will toward her anymore. In fact, I hope she's found whatever it was she was looking for when she made her choice. That part of my life feels like it belonged to someone else, like a story I once read but don't quite remember the details of anymore. In the time since, my life has evolved in ways I never could have predicted. My business has taken off. It's been a rewarding experience, watching something I built from scratch thrive. The hard work I put in during those dark days after the breakup paid off, and now I can finally see the fruits of that labor. But it's not just my professional life that's blossomed. After spending so much time focusing on myself, rediscovering my passions, traveling, rebuilding friendships, I'm in a much better place emotionally and mentally. I've grown in ways I didn't know I needed to. I'm more confident, more grounded, and most importantly, I've learned to prioritize my own happiness. And yes, I did eventually open myself up to love again. I met someone, her name is Emma. She's nothing like Brianna, and that's a good thing. Emma is kind, thoughtful, and we have a connection that feels deeper, more authentic than anything I've experienced before. We're taking things slowly, which feels right. I'm not rushing to fit into any preconceived ideas of what my life should look like. Instead, I'm letting it unfold naturally at its own pace. One thing I've learned through all of this is that life doesn't always go according to plan. Sometimes things fall apart so that better things can fall into place. The pain I went through shaped me, but it didn't break me. It led me to a stronger version of myself, to a deeper understanding of what I truly want out of life, and to a relationship that's built on mutual respect and trust. So here I am now, standing at the start of a new chapter. The past is behind me, and for the first time in a long time, I'm genuinely excited about the future. I'm not afraid of the unknown anymore. I've learned that I can handle whatever life throws my way, and I know that the story isn't about the heartbreak anymore. It's about healing, growth, and finding the courage to love again. And that's a story I'm proud to tell. Thanks for tuning in to today's Reddit story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more amazing stories. See you next time.